Welcome. It's 6:04, so I believe we'll get started. We have quorum. Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
All right. All in favor? Aye. Okay. We'll go straight into new business then.
New business, student code of conduct. I know that Dr. Ramey, a bunch of folks, all the principals, worked extremely hard on formatting this new handbook. I think Dr. Ramey approached sometime early in the school year. They kept talking about it and thought that this would be a good idea to just make it all one. Of course, the principals loved it because it didn't cost them any money, and that was a good thing. So Dr. Ramey had identified funds. I think this is going to be something that's going to be nice. I think the parents are going to appreciate this. You know, that's the handbook and the code of conduct. I wanted to break these two out separately so we wouldn't always let the code of conduct get lost in the shuffle. We wanted to approve it.
Okay.
So you've seen that. You've been sent the changes. On 2A, student code of conduct. Superintendent recommends approval as stated in the agenda.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
2A, unanimous.
2B, System 215-16 Student Parent Handbook. Of course, the code of conduct will be in that book. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Dr. Ramey, it's also going to be in Spanish.
Yes, sir.
In Spanish, and
And the local funds that were designated for paying for the code of conduct still have to pay for that, so it's not supplanted, but the rest of the handbook is paid for with federal funds.
okay. Any more questions for Dr. Ramey, or those on the 2B, System 2015-16 Student Parent Handbook? Superintendent recommends approval as stated in the agenda.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? 2B, unanimous.
2C, Math PD Intervention Contract. At the last board meeting, Dr. Ramey gave a pretty good detailed explanation of the Math 180 and the professional development that Dale and her team, Dr. Hanchy and Dr. Ramey have been working on. The price has been greatly reduced, but it's still going to provide our children with a start. We didn't have the funds to do the Read 180 and the Math 180. We realize that the data is telling us we need to do something. Through the efforts of the principals with central office administrators have looked at this. It's a good program. It's a start. It's the Math 180. I think if we do nothing, we're going to continue to have our teachers possibly struggle. With this, we're going to give them immediate help in the fall, which in turn is going to help our students. And with our focus of depth of knowledge, I think this is going to pay dividends, and hopefully after 1 year, we'll see the results of this program and the professional development, which has been greatly reduced down to, from that figure that you saw of, I think it was like 104, and I think greatly reduced down to about 33, I think. So, any questions on this intervention program?
We had three folks to bid on this?
Yes, it was three people that bid, wasn't it, James?
Yes.
Okay, and was this the best bid?
On those bids, the other two companies did not meet the specs of the program. One of them only went like K-8, one went from grades 3 through 8. It was
Okay.
not a K through
One
12.
comprehensive. And then this is negotiated with the only vendor that met the
Yes,
specs?
Dr. Ramey, after we changed the program direction, she negotiated with the vendor down from the original price.
It's significantly reduced in.
Yeah, I see that.
Spectrum.
And you have, now the reading is still out there?
Reading, I mean, if we came up with the money, I would sure love to have it, but no, sir, it's not in the bid at all now, or it's not in the quote at all.
Uh-huh.
This is strictly math. And it includes a unit at the middle school to cover math. It's going to be worked into the high school schedule. The elementary school will have a part-time retired teacher come in and do 3 hours a day. And we're hoping to be able to find similar for the elementary school.
The primary school.
Now, the primary schools already has
For the
theirs
elementary
intact.
school.
It's the
Okay.
elementary school we're hoping to find
Okay.
a temporary person that is certified and wonderful at math that can come in and teach at the elementary school instead of being a full-time unit.
And I know that Dale, Ms. Warren gave an explanation last board meeting that reading is not going anywhere. We're going to continue to press forward with what we need to do in our schools for reading.
We're going to be putting a lot of emphasis on teacher PD and trying to shore up instruction within the classroom in all subject areas. So this is just the student end of it, and we're just going to try to, you do what you can do. And math is our biggest deficit, so that's where we're going to start putting the resources immediately. And I'm hoping that your socks get blown off by what you see, and we find a way to make sure it's in all the schools for reading and math next year.
Most of them do pretty good till they start adding the alphabet in with the numbers.
That's when you start putting lines and pictures in there that I got, practice kicked me out.
Like Dr. Ramey, what
Yes,
will
sir.
have to change to get the funding for the reading?
The original plan where this started back was that federal units, teachers, people, were going to be shifted out of classroom environments and into these positions. That the funding, the big money, it's expensive regardless, but the big money is personnel. And when the rubber met the road, that just couldn't, a couple of principals just couldn't make that happen without their class sizes or their scheduling, or like I said, at the middle school, teaming would have been disrupted. So just couldn't make that happen, and there's no replacing those people. You can't just.
The backfill would have created
It would've
local
been-
funding, local units.
Right, in order to make it happen, we'd have to pick up about 5 new local units, because the elementary school was gonna give up 2, primary school was giving up 1, middle school was giving up 3 originally, and the high school was giving up 2. And the way it's feeling out is the primary school is going to still lose their 1, and it's going to the middle school, and the elementary school is going to lose 1 of the 2 they were going to use to help out at the high school.
So is that how we're gonna make it work next year?
That's how we're gonna make it work next year for math.
Okay, for math,
And then,
the following year?
the following year,
Yeah, right.
In 2016?
2016,
y'all are gonna
17.
be blown away and come up with $500,000 to get those people in. That's what's gonna happen the next year. I can maintain the funding as it is,
Okay.
indefinitely, as long as the feds don't take any more. But, like I said, I really, and the principals are working on it, and they know that that's the expectation for next year. And I've talked to Ms. Kinsey specifically, and we're trying to do some creative planning to see if we can't put some things in order so that next year we can have some people wearing multiple hats, or whatever we can do to make it possible. Because all of the principals agree that this is imperative. It's not that they don't want this to happen. It's just, when it comes down to it, do you want 28 kids in a class so that it's a terrible decision to have to make.
You said we were gonna step up PD and reading. Is that gonna be from local resources or somebody that we would contract with?
It's not just reading, it's all subjects, but that's a depth of knowledge, that's the
Yeah.
focus.
Okay, so that's included in that concept,
Yes.
okay.
So that's separate that y'all talked about last month.
Mhm. Mhm.
More questions for Dr. Ramey or Dave? On new business on 2C, math PD intervention contract. Superintendent recommends approval as stated in the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Ladies, unlock the cash value in your jewelry box. Sell your gold on Dale Road. We buy gold jewelry, bent or broken, at Eufaula Flea Market, 354 Dale Road.
Sell your gold on Dale Road. Sell your gold on Dale Road. Mr. Pond buys gold on Dale Road. Mr. Pond buys gold on Dale Road. Sell your gold on Dale Road. Sell your gold on Dale Road.
2C, unanimous.
2D, student activities. Let me get down to that. You see on 2D, Mr. Hawkins had talked to me about Lieutenant Colonel Haas and an opportunity that the soccer team has in Phoenix City, which I responded back, I think is a great opportunity. I think this is wonderful, and basically it's a result probably of their success this past spring. They just don't look on the radar for people who are over or don't really have, or stepping up their program. So this is a direct result, I would think, Mr. Hawkins, of that. And I think just another opportunity for our soccer program to build on itself. So you see that, and that really is the only one we have on student activities. On 2D, student activities, superintendent recommends approval as stated in the agenda.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
2D passes unanimously.
Susan, did I pass, or you just put it down as the E for discussing? On 2E, selected architects or architect, it's going to be my recommendation to the board based on the amount of work that's gone into this this project. And I'll have to say there's been a tremendous amount of work gone into this over the course of a better part of the year, I would think, James. And then bringing architects on board, presenting to you, we whittling it down to 2. Those 2 came back, and they've been most gracious in their presentations. It's going to be my recommendation that we take the multipurpose complex and award the architect of record to Blonheim and Mixon, and the Career Tech building, and offer that architect of record to McKee and Associates. I know that you, from that point, will have architects of record that, as Mr. Bailey works with both architects and with the school, with Career Tech, and Mr. Hawkins with Career Tech, and with multipurpose, and Coach Moore heavily involved, that they can start getting these facilities into a range that would be comfortable for the board. We know that funds are going to have to be sought. It's going to be comfortable for Angie. So right now the process is we get architects of record, then we start getting these facilities in line. Hopefully that we can do both of them. I do know that the Career Tech is a priority, but hopefully with getting architects of record and us looking at what we can do to start backing the cost down that's comfortable with the board, then we can maybe come back to you with a design that you can approve, and we can go out to bid. I see that happening possibly sometime maybe end of August, first part of September, James,
Yes.
with the work with our principals and Coach Moore. Any questions that you might have about these facilities, and about any questions to Angie on anything about further financing, which I think we're at a point now we just need to get architects. Then we need to go from there.
So that we understand it on the same page, we're just you're selecting both architects to get with you guys to critique what we as a board would feel comfortable with, and doing so possibly reducing the cost of each facility.
Yes.
And so we're not obligated at this point for anything other than that. Is that, am I
Right.
correct? That's as far as the obligation goes. Okay.
Okay?
We would be at architect fees.
Right. We're gonna have to, inform them that they're the architect of record for that particular project, and naturally, they're not gonna continue to move forward unless compensated. I mean, if I was an architecture firm, you're gonna come to a point where you gotta say, okay, you either want me or you don't want me, so. And that way we can really start pressing hard to, or just like the multipurpose facility, Coach Moore might have to look at it and say, okay, maybe I don't need a game day dressing room there. I've got my locker room. Let's take that out. Maybe I don't need this much storage. Career Tech, we spec out the culinary, but we leave it as an alternate. different things there that can be done.
Can
What
I
I-
can I just say that, I wouldn't want to, go into this and shortchange ourselves just to, for the sake of saving dollars. What I'm saying is, if we're gonna do a top-notch deal, we need to do a top-notch deal. If we can't afford it now, we can't afford it now. Do you know, understand what I'm saying?
Notice that was gonna be my follow-up. We're only gonna be able to water this thing down so much to where it's not going to be what we want it to be.
I
And
wouldn't
so
want to just,
it's gonna have to determine how low is low
Mhm.
as far as our facilities that we're gonna design and tweak. But I'm on the same page, and I feel like y'all would be too, that you just don't wanna all of a sudden erect a building and kids can come in outside of the rain, or they can come into a place and lift weights. I mean, you don't want that. Or they can come into a career tech, but we really don't have the finishes that we want in there, hospital beds and those type things. So, I agree 100%. And we'll take as long as it needs to get it to a point where we're all comfortable. It's not gonna be rushed. On 2E, selection of architects for the multipurpose and career tech building, superintendent recommends Blondheim and Mixon for the athletic multipurpose and McKee and Associates for the career tech building. To the board.
Do I hear a motion for 2E?
So moved.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Personnel, 2F. You see 2F1, the resignation of certified classified personnel. Any questions? 2F1, resignation of certified classified personnel. Superintendent recommends approval as stated in the agenda.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
2F2, transfer reassignment of certified personnel effective 2015-16 school year. Any questions there? On 2F2, superintendent recommends approval as stated in the agenda.
Second.
Same.
All in favor?
Aye.
2F3, employment of certified personnel effective 2015 school year. You see the listings. Any questions on that? 2F3, employment of certified personnel effective 2015-16 school year. Superintendent recommends approval as stated in the agenda.
So moved.
All in favor of 2F3?
Aye.
2F4, leave of absence of personnel. Any questions? 2F4, leave of absence, superintendent recommends approval as stated in the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
That's all I have, Mr. President.
thank you. If there's no other business before the board, do I have a motion for us to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I have a
Second.
second? All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Ladies, unlock the cash value in your jewelry box. Sell your gold on Dale Road. We buy gold jewelry, bent or broken, at Eufaula Flea Market, 354 Dale Road.
Sell your gold on Dale Road. Sell your gold on Dale Road. Mr. Pond buys gold on Dale Road. Mr. Pond buys gold on Dale Road. Sell your gold on Dale Road. Sell your gold on Dale Road.